Hello and welcome to our Gold participants from near and far. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Public Relations Manager and MC for Gold Midwifery. Well, welcome to Shafia Monroe. It's so lovely to have you here, and thank you for sitting down with me today to answer a few questions about your presentation that's coming up here at Gold. And the title we have is The History of the African American Midwife. Welcome, Shafia. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you, Fiona, for having me on. I'm very excited to be here today.
Well, we're excited to have you, Shafia, and I know for some of our listening audience, of course, they know who you are, but why don't you share just a little bit about yourself to our audience and let them know why you became a midwife?
I have been a midwife for, wow, approximately close to 41 years right now. And
Wow.
yes, it's been a while, and I'm excited that I can still remember why, because why I became a midwife then, it remains just as passionate for me today, which is my concern and my drive to make sure that every baby that comes into the world comes in the best way possible with the ability to live beyond age one. And so looking at, African American midwifery and what's happening in the United States of America for families of color, particularly African American families, where their babies historically have had a higher infant mortality rate, meaning not living to see their first birthday. Ever since I found that out at age 15 in Boston, Massachusetts, where I was born, I've
Wow.
been very committed to that cause, and that has driven me to become a midwife back then, and it drives me to stay as a midwife today.
That is just amazing. I'm already eager to hear more of your story, but I know that we just have a short time today to chat about it. And I wanted to ask you, partly you answered my next question, which was when did you first realize that there was a need for advocacy amongst African American women? Now, you said you were 15 when you realized that. How and like what were you doing at 15 that this came to light to you?
Well, I always tell people I have to really thank my parents. I had come from an amazing legacy of individuals where my mother was a very active person in the school board. She
Hmm.
created the first clinic in our neighborhood. My dad was very involved, and I found out later that he was born at home, that his grandmother helped him
Oh,
midwife.
wow.
Those things
Right?
came in, but I'm speaking more so from coming from the inner city of the East Coast, a
Yep.
place called Roxbury, where in the 1960s and 70s, infant mortality was extremely high for Black Americans in that state. But because
Hmm.
I was aware of politics, when I heard that there was a large sum of money coming to Roxbury, I inquired why. They said
Hmm.
Healthy Start was coming. So I asked them, well, what is Healthy Start? They said it's a federal program that helps reduce infant mortality. Well, I'm like, well, what's infant mortality? I'm 15, 16 almost. It means babies dying. I'm like, oh my goodness, 'cause I also wanted to be a vet, so I was already compassionate about animals. So I said, well, what babies are dying? And they said, well, Black babies are dying. So when I began researching the causes of infant mortality, somewhere along the line in my reading, I came across the word Black midwives in the South, which I have never heard of Black midwives. I knew about Ina
Right.
May and other things, but I did not really know there was a history of Black midwives. My dad from Alabama, I spent my summers in Alabama. No one ever mentioned midwives. So I was so excited, like, oh my God, there's Black midwives, and they're doing these amazing things, helping people, using herbs, praying over them, taking care of the families, and washing their clothes. Like, oh, I want to be like them. I want to make a difference. And ever since, I have been walking in their footsteps.
That is such a beautiful story. I love it from the moment that you talked about your mother being so active in your world and on the school board and your dad being born at home. And wow, there's just so much there that has really helped you rise up to where you're at today, which is just beautiful. So thank you for sharing all those things. And I realize that there's been a lot of hardship and continues to be with the African American woman in childbirth. And it's a very saddening not spoken enough about, item in our world. And so I really appreciate you being here. Now, I I kind of know, I'm excited, I guess, now because I want to hear more and more. But what do you want to teach us when we're in your presentation? What would you love for us to just take away from all that you are going to present to us during your presentation?
There's a lot of things I would like the delegates to take away. of course, we have the several objectives, but I think
Hmm.
in a nutshell, I really want the delegates to leave knowing that we need to make sure that every ethnic group has available midwives in their community, and that collectively we can work together for the
Mm.
betterment of humankind, regardless of where we live in the world, and that the African American midwife has contributed to world history around public health, and just to
Hmm.
understand that contribution and know it, and also to know how to research it. So I know I should about probably 5 things, but
Right, right.
I couldn't stop.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. No, I loved your opening statement there that you would love every ethnic group to have access to midwifery care, and I realize that that's an extremely important item to have on your list for sure. But I know that we're going to be learning a lot more from you. I can hear it in your voice and your excitement. And I just so looking forward to Shafia. I can't say enough. So, but we have run out of time today. This was very short and sweet, but I just want to give everyone just a little teaser because I really want them to come. So please, if you're listening right now, please come to the Gold Midwifery Online Conference 2016. We have Shafia Monroe here, and she's going to be talking to the history of the African American midwife, and she has so much to share with us, and we're all looking forward to that presentation at our conference. So thank you so much, Shafia, for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.